So I thought, put Seinfeld on drugs. And the bit was, why do my fingers look like little people? Who are these people? What are they doing? They're talking to each other. They're probably talking about me. What are they saying, George? Help me. I have no idea, Jerry. No idea. Somebody help me. Hey, Jerry, you look like you've been seeing little people on your fingers. You just let the cat right out of it. And then at the end, it was Newman. And Newman's like, hello, Jerry. Hello. I seem to have lost a set of Jerry Garcia Grateful Dead commemorative stamps. You can see them, have you? So he'd lick the stamps. You know, that was the bit.
You're listening to Screenwriters Need to Hear This with Michael Jamin. Hey, everyone. It's Michael Jamin. Welcome back to Screenwriters Need to Hear This. And I got another great guest today. I'm really racking up the guests, everyone. Before we begin, make sure everyone to get on my my watch list. It's my free newsletter, by the way. It goes out every Friday at michaeljamin.com/watchlist for tips for screenwriters, actors, and directors, and all that. And now let's bring them on. Let's bring on my next guest, who I met actually many years ago when I was running a show. The show was called Glenn Martin, and we this is how it works. And Frank, don't worry, I'll give you a minute to talk. I know you're talking a bit here. This is how it works in animation. It's actually a fun job for actors. So basically, the casting director, we don't even audition. We say this is what we need, and the casting director just brings somebody in, and if they're terrible, we just get somebody else to replace them. And so in this role, we needed someone who could do an impression. And I don't remember what the character was. There's probably some politician. It might have been Obama. It might have been George Bush. Someone like that. And so our casting director was Linda LaMontagne, and she goes, I have just the guy. And she brings him in, and it was Frank Caliendo. Thank you so much for being on my podcast, Frank.
And now I'm back. How about that? Huh?
Now you're back, and he killed it. Now, Frank, in the Game of Thrones, there was like the man of, what was it, the god of many faces? Is that what it was? You're the man, you're the god of many voices.
I'll take it. Yeah.
I'll take it.
It's like 6, and then I just kind of do variations on it.
I don't think so, dude. You are amazing. You are amazing at how you do that. I want to get into how you actually do that.
Well, okay. So let's get into, first of all, I didn't believe you that I did the show that you said I did, because I kind of remembered Glenn Martin DDS. I remember getting the sides for it. I remember getting an email about it, but I don't remember doing it, because we talked at some point and you were doing a live stream, and you're like, I think that's where it was. And I was like, you said, oh, Frank, you did a thing with me, or maybe we just instant message back and forth. I'm like, you're crazy. I don't remember doing that. I just looked it up on IMDb, and I did do it.
You did do it.
It was George Bush, and I guess John Madden, go figure. You probably had me for George Bush. So you wrote in the John Madden thing, I'm guessing.
It's so funny. It's so funny that you chose to forget that you were on Glenn Martin. How
I don't remember a lot of stuff, and I don't even do any drugs. But it's like I don't remember. I remember it was like a claymation-y kind of thing, right?
Yes,
yeah,
right. And that was Kevin Nealon. He did the guy. So yeah, and you crushed it, and you did. No, he wasn't John.
I crushed it so much. I've never worked with you again. That's.
But I haven't done a lot of animations.
No, I'm just being a jerk.
I did Brickleberry for 10 minutes though. But
it's funny. Here's a funny thing though. This is a funny thing, is that I haven't done a lot of animation. So you think of me as animation because of the voices, and that's the thing that's always weird. And that's why one of the reasons I didn't do a ton of voice acting. One, I wasn't as good at it as some other people, but two, it was like, because once you do that, it's amazing how people think of you I'm in a couple of different tunnels. It's the holes of the pigeon. People think of me as a sports guy and an impressionist. So it's like, that's all he can do. So they never. So it's so funny, because recently people have been like, you wouldn't do this little part in our movie. I'm like, yeah, I would. I would do it. Do I have to do an impression? No. Oh, good. Are you going to rewrite the part so I do impressions? No. Perfect. That's what I want to do. Now I do the impression stuff to keep the lights on. I mean, that's what I do on TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. There's some fun with it too, but that's the amazing thing, is people start to get. I think I saw you do something recently where you said, beat the dead horse, right? You're like, do the thing, do the thing you're known for. Yes. Keep doing it. Keep it. I did it for 20 years.
Well, I'm talking about beginning people, but for you, I can understand.
It's and then you get to that point where you're like, I got to do some other stuff. And it's so funny because then people don't want you for anything else. And then you go
Right.
back and do some of the stuff again. But there's like two careers. And I've heard David Spade talk about this. Other people probably talked about it too. But I used to say this until I heard David Spade say it too. And then I'm like, oh, people think I was just taking it from David Spade. But it was, you spend the first career, you have two careers. The first career, pigeonholing yourself, getting known doing something. And then the second career is being able to do something else, like getting outside of that. So I had the first one. So I'm fighting in that little bit of that second one.
Well, so I wrote for Spade twice on Just Shoot Me, and then later on Rules of Engagement. So I'm just curious, what does he think what is his second career? What was he talking about?
Well, I just saw it in a, I worked with him recently and didn't bring it up because I was scared of him. No, why would you be scared of David Spade? What's there to be scared of David? Like, I tower over David Spade at 5'6". No, I'm trying to think. It was just something I saw him talk about on a talk show. And it was one of those things. I'm like, man, somebody much more famous than me is talking about this. So,
what is it you'd like to do? Well, I mean, you're amazing at impression. I can see why you might want to do something else, but what is it? Acting? I mean,
just acting in small parts, just small things. Because people think you want to only do big things and carry a show. I don't really even have any interest in that. I don't even want to carry a show. Because I don't feel like my acting is at that level where anytime I've ever wanted to do something in Hollywood, I've always wanted to surround myself with good people. And they get confused when you try to do that. They're like, why would you want somebody else to? Well, because I want it to be as funny as possible. I grew up playing sports. When you have a good team, you do your part on the team. When I had Frank TV, it was my show that came after Mad TV. It was shortened by the writer's strike. And it had some struggles and stuff like that. But it was one of those things where, and it wasn't that good. When it was finally put together, I was amazed because we had great writers, and that they would do it. They would, the John pieces Bowman. That were Bowman and Matt Wickline, and
great writers.
Brendan Hay, King, and Lance Crowther, all these guys, like people, Rachel Ramos. There were really great people involved in the show. But then by the time it was cut and put on TV, all the air was taken out. It was boom, 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 boom. And when that happens, there's no setups. It's all punchlines, and you look like you're trying too hard.
Yeah.
That's, and I just didn't have, I'm not enough of a fighter. You need somebody who's going to fight for you and somebody who's going to have the vision and fight for the vision and has been in that spot before to fight. And I was doing like 15, 20 pages a day because I was playing all the parts until I got them to get other people on the show. So it was one of those things where I was just like, I was exhausted. I didn't even get to see edits. I didn't like watch myself because I was also too fat at the time. So I was like, I'm so fat in these things. It looks like South Park episodes.
But how did that come about? Did you have a development deal at a studio or something?
Being fat?
No,
I ate a lot and I didn't exercise. It was, I had a D. I went in and after I was at Med TV for a while, there for 5 years. I had the Fox stuff, the NFL on Fox things, which was actually bigger for me than anything else, being on the Sunday stuff, and Super Bowls. So I went. And
that's because you do a killer Madden. Give us the taste of the Madden, so people know what you're talking about.
I'm here for a quick popcorn pop, and I turned him into a character too, right? Like I was talking. I know I go off on tangents. Just stop me and go back. But one of the things with the Madden, the realistic John Madden voice was this kind of voice where you say the things and you do the things. But I found this thing in him that was the excited little kid, right? And then when he would get that going, it was like I was on Letterman and he had me come on as John Madden. Didn't say it was I was the lead guest over Ben Stiller, I think. It was like fake John Madden. Was the lead guest, and I came in, and I wasn't really the lead guest, but it was, I tell people, but it was so I pulled a chicken wing out of my pocket. I had them get me a chicken wing with sauce on it and everything. You hungry? He was like, not right now.
How funny.
Can you believe this? But it was one of those things where just stuff would happen, and you create the character with it, and it becomes. The funny thing is, to me, that stuff doesn't work the same on social media like TikTok or Instagram, but it might work on some YouTube stuff because it's more longer form. It's more of a longer form. The platform is
Right.
I just didn't like that I said more and longer right together. I'm weird with grammar. Some things I just like. If you notice, I texted you. I didn't like that I put different tenses in
Yeah.
my text,
Yeah.
and you just stopped talking to me at that point.
Oh,
But when
I don't know.
what they really like and on TikTok and these short form platforms is exact replication. They want what I would call more of an impersonation. Like
Right.
they want they want you to sound exactly like the person. There's no element of caricaturizing it really, or going what I would call Dana Carvey on it, cartooning it and
Right.
making it bigger. They're like, that's nothing like it. Well, that's the point. That's the comedic element
Right. Right.
that makes it good
Exaggeration.
after, exaggeration after the initial um what's the word I'm looking for, the when you get the recognition laugh on the sound, and then you have to do something with it and make it bigger, right? You have to have more fun with it.
But you did a
So
post I thought was fascinating. I think it was on TikTok. Excuse me. I think it might have been like how you do Robert Downey Jr. or something. And you walk through the stages of how you approach the voice in pieces, and then how
so
you
let's
get there.
let's start with this, and this is something that you'll identify with completely as a
Mm.
writer and a creator. You have to find the cadence and the voice of the person, not speaking in terms of tone, but the cadence, right?
Yeah.
How many Christopher Walkens have you heard, right?
Right.
You've heard low, you've heard high, you've heard in the middle. In the old days, it was William Shatner. You knew who it was just by the pauses, right? So you
Yeah.
could tell from those voices how you would write for that character. You put the point of view into into the song,
Right.
those of the into you put the lyrics into the melody. So with Robert Downey Jr., I found that this is with other characters too, that counting can help you do it. It's better for the audience. It's not a full way to teach somebody how to do it, but it's entertaining while you do it. So Robert Downey Jr. is, after you find the pitch, or you don't even have to have the pitch first, but I'll go to the pitch because it's what I do. But it's 1, 2, pause, burp, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you find that it's 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you can just figure it out. So that's how you find those. With Liam Neeson, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's
That's
the beginning.
interesting.
Yeah, you can do that with
But,
Jeff Goldblum was 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. What comes after 1? Think out loud. That's him. 1. What's coming into my head? What do I hear? The voices coming at me. 1, 2. Yes, here it comes. 1, 2. A little jazz scat. Bitty bop bop. 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh,
but
7.
you talk about this. You're talking about how you approach it. It's not like you think anyone. It's not like you're trying to teach anybody. It's not like you think anyone can do this, do you? Because I don't think
I do
people
think
can do
people can
this.
find people can find I do think people can find it. I think people can find people can't get they might not be able to get the pitch, the note, but they can find the cadence. People
Yeah,
do it forever.
but you know, your throat, your mouth has a certain, and your nose, like you talk. I think you're stuck kind of with the like. I can't change my. You're stuck with the voice. I don't know how you were able to literally change
Well, you don't
not
need
just
to
the
do all that
pitch.
stuff. You don't have to do all that. This is another part. The face is another part of an impression.
No,
That's the
but how
difference
the
between
sound of the sound comes from inside your
okay.
skull.
So yeah, so there are different pieces to this as well. You can close off your throat. You think of the Bobby character, the Howie Mandel. My name is
Oh, okay.
Bobby. So that's closing off your throat, and a lot of
Yeah.
people can do that. But the difference is finding different levels of being able to work. It's like a muscle, right?
Right.
So I've done this. You might have seen this before, but this is John C. Riley is in here. So John C. Riley has just a little bit of bubble in his throat. Now,
Yeah.
if you work backwards, it's Hi Ho Kermit the Frog. That's a little bit more up in here. Hi Ho Kermit the Frog here, reporting from the planet Coosbane. Then bring it down a little bit. Now it's in your throat a little bit more. You add some air and it becomes Mark Ruffalo. I see this as an absolute win, guys.
That's exactly it.
This is this is crazy. And then So for Ruffalo, he's got that thing where I think he had like a tumor or something, some medical thing when he was
Uh,
younger. And part of his face, it's the same with like Stallone. Stallone had Bell's palsy.
right.
So he's got that, that thing right? So if you find, I call it the pizza slice. You've probably seen the thing I did this. It's a triangle. It's a line across the eyebrows, a dot in the chin, and it's a
Mm.
triangle that goes down. There are two things. Now, this is stuff I'm actually going to do TikToks and Instagram on as well. But I just am too lazy. And it's the mouth tells you how the person talks.
Uh,
So if you watch my mouth, that's why everybody does a Donald Trump, right? When they do a Donald Trump, you have to do the lips. The lips are very, very, that's very. But now, this part of my face from nose down is doing Donald Trump. Now, when the eyes start going, now that's the point of view that starts. Same with the Bush. Bush is, I could do this thing with this half smile. It's like somebody told me a dirty joke before I came up here, but that's from nose down. But now
right.
I get a little discombobulated, and I'm staring
amazing.
into the abyss,
That's
which was
amazing.
also a great movie. So
Did,
and then the point of view comes from the way you think, right? But when you write a character, when you're
mm,
writing a character, you become that character when you write. I don't know if I'm stirring batter or what,
yeah.
but if you're doing a cooking show and you're stirring the batter, but your character, you have,
Yeah, we would, for example, on King of the Hill, we would imitate Bobby Hill or Hank or whatever, but imitating is not sounding, it's not sounding like.
yeah, it's just that's just taking it another level. You just take it, you get, because you had the cadence of the character. You might not have had the note, but you had the notes written. You didn't have
Right.
them on the staff, but you knew if it was an eighth note, a quarter note, whatever, a rest. And I only know a little bit about music, and that's all of it that I just told you.
But did you, as a kid, did you like, were you good at this as a kid? Did you want to aspire? Did you aspire to this?
I think I was pretty good at it. I have a natural knack, and my kids have the knack too. So you have to have a knack at the beginning to figure the stuff out from the beginning.
Right.
To, it's Predator. I have the infrared going. I see everything. My son had Bell's palsy when he was very little, and I could see that when he would smile. This is the blessing and a curse thing. When he would smile, he wouldn't smile all at the same time. And then I started to look closely, and part of his face moved a lot slower and didn't always move. And I said to my wife, I go, something happened. I don't know what it is, but I think he had Bell's palsy. Well, we had him tested to make sure there was no brain stuff going on or whatever, but the doctors, what the diagnosis eventually was, he had Bell's palsy when he was a baby. And what happens is Bell's palsy is, I think, the fifth, I don't remember what it was, the fifth or seventh cranial nerve. Something gets damaged either by a virus or trauma, blunt trauma, and it keeps you from everything moving at the same time. But I could see it. Most people don't see it. I could see it because that's the way my brain breaks things down.
Yeah.
I mean, you as a writer, as a performer, whatever you consider yourself, you do similar things. You see the world from that point of view, and that's how you write. You go, you observe, you take in, and then you replicate or create from that. Exaggeration or finding I've set off Siri like 9 times on my watch during this, and that's never happened before.
I say mean things to her. And my wife says it's not good because Apple's picking up on this. Like I say awful things to Siri. So, like, Siri, you asshole, what time is it? She, don't say that.
I'm sure it could be much worse.
It is much worse. I'm cleaning it up for the podcast.
Yeah, you were just trying not to get canceled.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there are lots of, I see. I look at these things in lots of different ways. For me, one of the things when I first got on social media in the last couple of years, a few years ago, because I wasn't doing any, because I was on Twitter 10 years ago.
And why did you start to go on social media? Why did you start?
Well, you have to. I mean, if you the first time it was because it was new and people were telling me I didn't like it. I don't like it. I can't adapt it because people are angry for the most part, and there's a lot of
Yes. Tell me about
Is
it.
it, yeah, right. And there's
Yeah.
a lot of confirmation bias. So there's confirmation bias
Mhm.
and the exact opposite, right? So people either want to hear exactly what they're thinking and they don't want to
Mhm.
have a conversation about something different,
Mhm.
or they just want to fight you for no reason. They want to troll you. They just want to.
Right.
They want to
Yep.
make you mad, and especially somebody like you or somebody like me that's been in the entertainment business. We're targets because if we
Yeah.
say something back that's mean, oh, the guy from Glenn
Yep.
Martin TVS.
Well, they don't, no one's ever heard of
I
that,
know.
but you're right. I don't respond anymore because there's just no winning it. There's
You
no
can't
winning
win
it.
because you are. It would be like this is an exaggeration, but it'd be like a leader being a leader of a country, and
Mhm.
this is what Trump does or did though, right? And he
Uh-huh.
would come back at people, and you gotta think, you got to stay above that at a certain point. It's fun. It quote unquote it can be funny in, and this isn't a political rant. This is just what I see as an observation. It
Mhm.
can be funny in of somebody running for president, but as soon as they're president, you kind of feel like,
You're above
yeah,
it.
I
Yeah.
think I think it's time to be a little different. That's my opinion, but
No, you're absolutely right.
but
But and that's what's so interesting about it is because social media, at least when I started doing it, like at first it's a little empowering. You have an audience and you have a platform. But then once you start getting trolled as a comedy writer, I feel like I can tear you apart. Whoever's trolling, I'm better at this than you. But the minute I do it, I can't do it because then I'm the asshole. And then what was once empowering now becomes emasculating at the same time. It's very odd to be able to have a platform but
yeah,
not be
because
able to talk.
you can and people can say things to you that you could never say back because
Right.
they will say things that would get you as a business person canceled.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be racial or it just they can
Yeah.
say things that are just mean that if you say it and somebody pulls it up, they're like, look what Michael Jamin did. This
Yeah.
is unbelievable.
Yeah.
We can't hire this guy.
Yeah.
He's a terrible person, and they'll defend the person who's ripping you to shreds and saying way worse things.
Yes.
So you're stuck in a spot. So I started. This is why I got away from social media 10 years ago, or whatever. I was on Twitter. I was building it really quickly with sports stuff mostly, not video, just kind of like uh, sassy phrases and mean things. I realized I was starting to be this person on Twitter in real life. I was
Real
like,
in what way?
I'd see somebody and want to say something terrible to them. And the
Hmm.
only reason I would say that in Twitter, because my comedy's silly, not really mean.
Uh-huh.
It's more cherubic because of the cheeks, but it was one of those things where said mean things on Twitter, you got likes and retweets because people love
Right.
knocking down people
Polarizing.
in power.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say something about a quarterback that just threw an interception, something I could never do. I would never
Right.
have that's the level of skill to make it to their level. And I'm ripping them to shreds. I'm going, and I've changed this way too. I mean, I used to think, I used to watch the Oscars and kind of rip the Oscars to shreds because it is so self-aggrandizing. And it's so
Hmm.
everybody's self-congratulatory and stuff like. And I would say things like, I shouldn't be saying this stuff, not just because it's it's kind of gross, but it's also just I don't know. These people work very hard to get where they're just going. Some of them don't, they're happy to be getting an award, but they have to show up. It's part of the business.
Right.
I get it. What a jerk I am for that.
It's
That's
so
why even
interesting.
people want to do a podcast and like, let's do a podcast where we just rip movies. I'm like, I don't want to.
Right.
That's somebody's acting. Somebody's put a lot of time. Like my TV show, there were a lot of
Mhm.
great people putting that stuff together. But by the time it all got put together, a network has say other people, standards and practices, all these different levels. It's not really what you want it to be, and it's not any one person's fault. It's
Right.
just not what you want it to be, and that person is. But that's why it's so amazing when somebody does do something really great. You're going, wow, you watch a Tarantino film or something like that. He's a guy who just fights for all his own stuff. He's going to do it his way.
Right.
But you watch a film with somebody who does Jordan Peele now,
Right.
who I actually got to work with at Mad TV years ago. People get to a point where they have their point of view and they can make closer to the movie that they want to make. And then you go, okay, when this turns out, this is fantastic. This is how you do it, because when you
Right.
don't have that much say, you don't have that much power, and you don't have that much um, fight in you, it's really hard to get close to what you want. And there were so many things in my show that were
Uh-huh.
close to what I wanted, but that little bit of change just goes. And there were three little changes. You go, oh, the timing's not what I would have done there. They used a cut I never would have used,
Right.
and now they put it in a different part of the show. Well,
Right.
oh man. So,
But
and I
then,
know that happens to everybody.
but I have to ask, so then why are you on social media? Because you have quite a big presence on it. So
You
what,
go into somebody's office, an executive's office. The first thing
Mhm.
they do is, what? How many this? What are you doing here? What are you?
Do they really
What
say
are you
that to
doing?
you?
Oh yeah, I've had plenty of people looking, and
Because
it's
what they don't, I feel like they don't understand is the change in the algorithm, which is maybe only a few months old, but they don't, do they understand when you talk to them that having 1 million followers on Instagram or TikTok, you can't reach them all on any given day. You reach maybe a tenth of them, you know?
well, you don't even reach that. I mean, people don't. So again, people, the way it's been explained to me is that TikTok doesn't even really go out to your followers
No, it
anymore.
doesn't. No, it doesn't.
It goes out to a random sample audience, which has
Hmm.
some of your followers in
Right?
it. And then once it hits that first audience, if enough people watch it long enough or watch it to the
Yes.
end,
It gets
then it
boosted.
goes to the next sample audience.
Yes. Right.
So if you go to a bat,
But
so
that's
I just
also
posted,
Instagram now. That's kind of this, they're taking the same
right,
model. That's going to be
the
Facebook.
real
Yeah.
stuff. Well,
Yeah.
because, and the reason that works for them is because they can build stars faster that way. They can build. So it used to be on Instagram, it would take you years, if you weren't famous,
Hmm.
to get to a point where you had 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 followers. Well, now people can just vertically swipe through reels, and all of a sudden, those people who do that are tend to follow a lot more people.
Right.
So your videos can go viral with no followers. And
Right.
then suddenly you'll have followers. It didn't used to work like that. It used to work.
Exactly. So that's
You
what I'm
had
asking.
lots of
Do they
followers.
know? Do you think the executives know that? Because they look at your numbers and they go, "Oh, Frank's got a big following," but do they know that you
I
can't
don't
really
think,
talk?
I think they're a little, I think yes and no.
Uh-huh.
But again, it works in their favor that if you have videos that have a lot of numbers,
Hmm.
because then you're hitting an audience. They know you're hitting a pretty big audience that spreads it to other people.
Hmm.
Now, I'm 40 now. I'm about to be 49. Okay.
Hmm.
My age group that I played to most, or played to the most, was probably 35 to 50, in there, somewhere in there, somewhere that I felt like I was similar age and had similar likes and life experiences.
Right.
And those people, that group of people, doesn't tend to hit the like button or the retweet button as much. I know I
Right.
don't.
Right.
Kids send it, they direct message stuff to their friends. They send things to their friends. They tag other people. They tag lots of people.
Yeah.
And that's why network executives, producers, advertisers like young audiences, not just to sell the products to, but they're the ones that spread the word.
Right.
And they know that. They know it. It kind of works. I never really thought about that. I never really believed them with that. I've changed brands on a lot of stuff. I've changed toothpaste. I've changed all kinds of things. I
Right.
don't think I'm normal. I guess I'm not. But young people will try different things, and they will do lots of different things uh, at a much higher rate. And
So interesting. Do
you know,
you feel then as a performer that, okay, so you kind of have to do this a little bit, because you do it what every day, right? How many times do you post a day?
I don't even post that much. I'll
Oh.
post like a week, once a week, or once, and
Oh,
half the time it's old stuff that I've already,
interesting.
like, the thing. I have something with 8 million views right now from like
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago that
Wow.
I've posted 2 times before,
Yeah.
and it's gotten 1 million views and 2 million views and maybe 30,000 views,
Oh,
which
wow.
hits exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
If it doesn't hit I have two pieces of advice, a couple pieces of advice for your content.
Please.
I would not end my pieces telling people to I wouldn't waste the time in the post telling people for more. If you like stuff like this, go to Michael Jamin Writer, your website, stuff like that.
Right.
I would just put it in writing near the end on the screen, because then it's there a little bit subliminally, and they don't have to wait for because if they've heard you, if they like your posts and they watch you all the time, they know that's the end of your post. They'll cut out early.
Interesting. So you're saying but if I put it up on there, because I do this to get people on my newsletter, right? Because that way you get their. But you're saying if I just say
at the end, you spend 2 to 3 seconds going. Right. If you like what I said, right. Go to Michael Jamin Writer. What is it? Michael Jamin Writer.
MichaelJamin.com/watchlist is my newsletter.
/watchlist. Okay. So if you like what you've heard, go to michaeljamin.com/watchlist for more stuff like this and other things. And I got it. Now you've given them a little piece, which is what's everybody telling you to do. They all tell you, well, get the call for action. But if they've seen your post and they like your post, they don't need that anymore, right?
But what if they're brand new? What if they're brand new?
If they're brand new, you just put it up on the screen. You put it up on the screen.
What do I put on the screen?
You just write it on the screen.
Yeah,
but more stuff like this.
Oh, okay, for the whole thing, for more. Okay.
Or in the last third of what you say, just have it up there, and because you can try, you can experiment and do it both. Say it sometimes, put it up on the screen, do both. Sometimes just put it at the end and test it. Because I can be wrong. I can be wrong here, but I'm telling you, I watched to the end of yours because I want yours to do well. I'll do it, but I'm tempted as soon as you go into that, I'm tempted to flip up. And
all right,
what I found with my stuff, if I introduce things, sometimes people don't even want to see me introduce it. I just put the title of what I'm doing on the screen. I don't tell you, I don't tell you what I'm doing. I put the title on the screen to tell you what I'm doing, and I get right into it. Right. Unless it's a reply to somebody's, then I read their reply a little bit. Right. So they have the visual, and you're reading the reply, and you're saying something at the same time. So they're kind of going back and forth, and then you cut and do what they're saying.
What is your other,
very quickly.
What is your other tip for me? Is there anything else? I'm listening. I don't know if my readers. Yeah, what? Cuts?
I would cut a lot. You don't cut much.
Visually.
You do things in one.
No, you know why? Because I just don't want to produce anything. I don't want to spend time.
Right, I get it. But a friend, somebody I know used to work at YouTube, and they're like, just cut, and you don't even have to really produce it. All you have to do is just splice, slightly make things bigger and smaller. You don't even really cut any air out. But if you just put it in iMovie, or they actually have it in there now. If you don't even
too much work.
I get it. If you watch most of my stuff that's new, there is no real effort into writing it. It's just saying words over and over.
Right.
I won't put the time. Now what I've started to do is go back, like you said, let's talk about the Seinfeld thing, when I put the Seinfeld thing up.
And that was from Frank TV.
Right. That was from, and it was critically panned. Like, it's terrible. Like, the critics told me it was awful.
Okay. I liked it.
It's even cut even shorter. It's even, I think the full thing's like pretty good. It was one of the things I was the most proud of, or the proudest of. And, but it's one of those things where it's so funny, because it really does look like a South Park version, because I'm so fat at the time we made it that it's that it just looks like, I call it sign fat.
Right.
But it was weird, because if I had guest stars on the show, it would even make it tougher for disbelief, suspending belief, or is it suspending belief or suspending disbelief?
Suspending disbelief.
So okay, yeah. So you suspend. So
you're not disbelieving it.
Right. So you suspend your disbelief. When you see somebody, all the characters look kind of the same, it fits. But all of a sudden you have somebody that looks more like the person because they're skinnier or something like that. All of a sudden it looks out like. But that Seinfeld thing, it was actually from my act was the way I did it in my act was I always tried to think for the impressions. And so my thinking of the Seinfeld bit in my act was, Seinfeld is about nothing. It's about reality. It's about everything that happens in reality. Well, what takes you out of reality? So it was drugs. So I thought, put Seinfeld on drugs. And the bit was, why do my fingers look like little people? Who are these people? What are they doing? They're talking to each other. They're probably talking about me. What are they saying? George, help me. I have no idea, Jerry. No idea. Somebody help me. Hey, Jerry, you look like you've been seeing little people on your fingers. You just let the cat. And then at the end, it was Newman, and Newman's like, hello, Jerry. Hello, Newman. I seem to have lost a set of Jerry Garcia Grateful Dead commemorative stamps. You can see them, have you? So he'd lick the stamps. That was the bit. So there was reality, and it turned back into a Seinfeld episode. But the whole bit was, instead of reality, how do I get him to a fantasy world? And that was the easiest way to do it.
Hey, it's Michael Jamin. If you like my videos and you want me to email them to you for free, join my watch list. Every Friday, I send out my top 3 videos. These are for writers, actors, creative types. You can unsubscribe whenever you want. I'm not going to spam you, and it's absolutely free. Just go to michaeljamin.com/watchlist. Your voices are amazing. I mean, that sounds amazing. But tell me, I have another question for you. I know I actually want to mention it. So I know you got 2 shows coming up in Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
Where you go and it's stand up. You're doing voices as well, or like, right? Or
I just what I do is what I like to do is I always hated the vaudevillian impressionist. What if?
Oh yeah.
What if Cary Grant was your waiter? Well, why would he be? First of all, that's bad writing, right?
Why would he be your waiter?
Why would he be your waiter? Remember, years ago, I think it was on the White, was it the White Album, that Dennis Miller did. He's like, he was like, and these impressionists thing. Jack Nicholson as a fry cook at McDonald's. I mean, how about you as a fry cook at McDonald's, Chachi? Get some writing, So it was. I was always like, I want to write for these characters. So what would I do? I would make observations. So and that would give me my point of view. So Pacino, he's an actor, right? So I was like, what do they teach you in acting? Be curious, be amazed by everything. So the simplest thing, Al Pacino can be amazed. Like somebody's turning on a light. He's like, wait a second. You mean to tell me you flip a switch over there, a light comes on over here? Wow! So he's amazed by everything. That's the point. And that's what my Pacino character always was. And chewing gum. So
that's dead on, man.
It's make those observations and then apply them in situations later. So it's observational comedy, but I was just observing how people were. Robert Downey Jr. is a human Twitter feed, 280 characters or less, and everything's about himself. So he'd be giving out an Academy Award, which is supposed to be about the nominees, but he'd be up there like, these people deserve your applause almost as much as I do. #awesome. So it's, that's the point of view. Set it up.
That's funny.
Bring it back. So once you have that, now the audience is in on what your point of view is. Now you can put them in situations, which is really what you do with characters in writing. Any kind of sitcom or any kind of drama, anything. It just takes longer to get them to who the character is. An impression most of the time, and this is why impressions are cut away from acting so much, where people think there's no acting in impressions, because it's just, somebody with Robert De Niro and they work on, are you talking to me? Well, where's the writing for that? It's the vaudevillian part. Right. Come up with something that tells you who the character is, and now write for it, and now it's an interesting character. And that's what any type of original character, it just takes longer to get there. And that's why a pilot, right? A television pilot, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, you do this more than me.
Let's see.
There's a lot more exposition and kind of telling people, okay, hey, I'm just your local waitress. They tell you a little bit because they have to do it to get it done, to get it sold. Yeah. And then once you kind of have that, now you can develop the characters, and you have arcs that can build the character to something longer. And that's why a lot of pilots get rewritten and redone, because the pilot's almost a presentation just to sell it. and it's
Yeah,
almost too on the nose
it's a
to
whole
be what
beast.
you want.
But tell me what it's like when you do, like when you go do a show or two shows, like literally what is that like? You get on a plane, you arrive a couple days before your show, like
No, I'll get
and
there
for
the day, usually the day of.
the
I
day
just
of,
get there. I get
you
there,
do a
start
sound
going.
check, or no, you just go up on stage. Like
A theater, I'm probably have the guy opening for me, do a sound check. I just go out there and show up and hit, so I have more energy. I mean, it's just, I like to get out there and just start going. I have a
and then you
plan.
uh-huh.
I have a lot of stuff that I will do that I've done, that I've worked on and done before. But now I actually like to do clubs a lot more than theaters
Why is that?
because I get to play more, and I feel like somebody goes to the theater, you feel like even though they're not, you feel like it should be a little bit more put together and professional. I feel like at a club, it
But
can
in
be
a
a little
club, you
more.
can get heckled. They're not necessarily coming to see you. If you go to a theater, they're
They
paying to see you.
99% they come to see me at a club now. If
Oh
I'm
yeah.
doing a club, yeah, because I'll do like off nights. I'll do like a Tuesday or a Wednesday.
Uh,
The general audience isn't going for that, and tickets will sell in advance. I mean, it's that's what I
is
like
it is
to
a
do.
theater though more seats usually?
Yeah, it's harder to sell. You got to figure you got to sell price. You can probably because they're trained to go to a club, and you'll get some people that to fill other seats, and it'll snowball. People will talk about it more,
Uh-huh.
and they have a built-in advertising in everybody who goes to that venue 3 or 4, 5 shows a week
Interesting.
sees that you're going to be there, and they're a comedy audience already. A theater doesn't necessarily have a built-in comedy audience. It might
That's
be
true, but
99%.
they're not coming in a comedy club. They might be drunk, they might be hostile, they may heckle. They're not doing it
That's
at a
not it's
theater.
not as bad anymore. Most of the clubs
Uh-huh.
are that's kind of a 90s early 2000s, just maybe 80s type of thing. That
Uh-huh.
doesn't happen as much anymore because they have so much riding on everything. The clubs used to be, you just go there and do a nightclub set, and
Mhm.
they turn them in and out, 2 drinks, 4 drinks, and get them in and out. Now they're selling them dinner. They
Uh-huh.
realized they were giving away the fun. They're restaurants now that have entertainment
Right.
because they would bring everybody in, and they would give everybody else all the food and beverage around the
Right.
showtime, and they realized, well, we can do this too, and some of them do it really
But they're
really
not eating
really
during the
well.
show. You don't want them eating during
Yeah,
the
they
show.
are. Yeah,
They
yeah, yeah,
are?
yeah,
And you're
they are.
hearing like silverware and stuff?
Yeah, it's usually more of a finger food.
Uh-huh.
um but there are some that have full on, but that a lot of that happens during the opener or MC too. By the time I'm
Right.
up, they're a drinking, and they're warmed up, and they've gotten their food already.
And then do you travel with your opener, or is it a local guy or
I
woman?
bring people with me because I know what they're doing.
Uh-huh.
I'm a control freak in terms of what's on before me,
Right.
because I'm very clean. Even when I try to be dirty, it doesn't work because people want to see me for being clean.
Right.
But I've had, an opener thinks they're clean, and I only say that word once. Like, wow, that's too many times for some of my audience.
Right.
They're not expecting it because they've been there to see me before, and I'm the one who's going to get the emails, and the club is. And so I just bring people that I know are going to play, and then I don't have to watch the set
And
over and over and over.
and then after you'll do how many shows?
2 is the most I'll do in a night, but I'd rather just do one. I,
Right. It's
I, I
exhausting. It's exhausting to hold that kind of attention to people.
yeah, it is, and I just have to the point where I do it, and when I have fun doing it, that's
Hmm.
when I go up and do it. And if I go up and I'm creating some, I'm having fun. If I'm doing an old set just for money and not creating, I'm not having fun. And that happened to me for 5 to 10 years, where I was just doing the same thing all the time. I was making a ton of money, but I think
Uh-huh.
some of my audience got like, well, you're doing the same exact set. And it was just kind of going through the motions. And that wasn't a great time for myself, for me personally. Not like I had anything wrong with family or anything. Like, I just wasn't having fun doing the comedy.
And then
And
will you leave the next day or what? Or I don't
yeah,
mean to cut
I
you
just
off,
leave.
but
I used to leave the next morning, first flight to try and get home because I have two little kids.
right,
At the time, two little kids. Now they don't like me that much
right,
anymore. So
right.
I don't mind going away for a little. Do you have kids?
I do, but they're grown. Yeah, they're in
Yeah.
college.
So you know that. I mean, when they're little, I was missing a lot because I was working a lot when they were little. I'd be on the road for a couple of weeks at a time. I didn't see my son's first steps. I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff. So um,
But you knew going
so
into it when you went to comedy, you knew that that's what the life is going to be like, right? Or no? Were you surprised?
yeah, but you kind of assume you're going to go. Yes, you do know. But you're also thinking maybe land a TV show.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I'll do. I don't, and I didn't plan. I didn't plan in the terms of that. But listen, I don't have to work. I honestly don't have to work anymore. I really don't.
Wow.
I'm at a point where I don't. So I do things that I really want to.
Right.
And the NFL on Fox stuff, because I was associated with uh, NFL Hall of Famers and stuff like. I do big corporate shows for
Oh, do
for
you?
the biggest companies in the world,
Uh,
and that's what I do. People, you see one date on the on my public dates because I live in Phoenix. I don't have to go anywhere, so I'm just going
uh,
to do it. I can
right.
go. I can go do it. And I can be home. People are asking me to do shows all the time. I'm like, and I'll
That's
go
right.
do a run of one night at different clubs so I can. I don't like looking at the same back of the room
Uh-huh.
for 5 or 6 days. 3-4 days, 5 shows. I don't enjoy it, so I don't do it.
Right.
Um, I try to do the things now that I like to do. Um,
I didn't know you were in
I've
Phoenix.
saved a
So
lot of money.
how are you getting acting gigs then if you're out there?
Well, have you seen me in anything? I don't.
That's why.
Well, yeah, I don't. I don't. I go out to LA. I'll do some stuff on tape and things like that if
Uh-huh.
people ask for me. But yeah. People call me now, and I'll get people are like, "Hey, will you do this?" I'm like, "Yeah." If I
And then
don't
you
have to
just
do an
fly it.
impression, yeah, I just go do it. And I was
Yeah.
like I just did something recently that was a Zoom thing. Like it was actually Zoom in a movie, like a small, like a Netflix
Uh-huh.
kind of thing. Like they're like, you don't even have to come here. You can just do a Zoom thing. And we made it, the part became bigger because
Right.
I call it being serious to the point of being funny, where
Uh-huh.
you're just so serious. It's Will Ferrell does it really, really well,
Right.
where
Right.
you're so serious that it becomes funny. That's the comedy I like. I don't like, hey, look at
Right.
me.
Right.
Here's my testicles. That's not the kind of comedy I really like. But it's a lot of times it's what you have to do to get like the funniest thing to me. I like that really uncomfortable stuff in serious. So Better Call Saul. Are you a fan of that
Yeah.
show at all?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that Mike Ehrmantraut
Yeah, he's great.
will just Odenkirk. They will crack me up because they're not doing anything big and funny per se. They're
Yeah.
just in a really awkward situation, but the stakes are so high and it's really important. Lalo Salamanca, it's like
Yeah.
all these things are so, like, and stuff Bryan Cranston would do on Breaking Bad. And you'd watch them and you go, God, like, I'd like to go, God, you're good. I go, that's the stuff that when somebody's just the character, and I go, man, I was watching Billions. I watched
Uh-huh.
Billions, and I started watching Paul Giamatti, and that's why I started doing that impression, just because I'm like, he's so good, and he's so. I believe these are ways. Like he's just
Yeah.
so like the intensity, and you know you kind of know where he's going before he does, and then he can zig or zag, and that's what makes him great because you think you got him pinned down, and you're like, oh,
But so what's interesting I'm hearing is that so you have a platform, a stage where you can write, perform pretty much whatever you want to do, but at this point you kind of want someone else just to write for you, and I'll just act, you know.
that's more of a, and I'll add my pieces if that's what you want. Like
Uh,
I'll add a little flair or that's really more what I do want to do. Yeah, I mean it's I don't know. I don't want this is going to sound terrible, but maybe it is, maybe it is. But after having a couple shows that I developed, or development deals that just fell apart and weren't what I wanted them to be, I just want to be in somebody else's who's a real good fighter and go, let's work together. I like being part of a team, and I don't want to be on a team where somebody wants to do something completely different than me. I don't want to do that. But if somebody's in the same wavelength, and they're going, and you know when that is, and you just start having fun, you go, that's what I was going to say, and then you do it, and they're like, I know, don't even say it, I'm going to do exactly what you're about to say. This is it, don't worry, if I don't, we'll shoot it again, but I know what you're going to say right here, because I saw the light bulb go on with you as soon as it went on with me. Here we go. So yeah, I want to be a part of somebody else's thing. That's really, and when people think of me, they think I want to be a one-man band. I didn't even want to be a one-man band on my own show. I just, I don't know. I like being something. I like being part of something bigger. And it doesn't, agents don't always understand that either, because agents a lot of the time, like, but you should do your own thing. I'm like, but if I do my own thing, then it's just about me. I'm sick of it being about me. How about it is about,
I'll tell you this, because this gets back to Spade, but on Just Shoot Me, he didn't want to be on screen if he wanted to hit a home run, walk off stage. I mean, that was it. He didn't need to hang around. He didn't need to count lines. He didn't need to have storylines. He's like, no, just let me hit a couple home runs, and I'll do what I need to do and then leave.
And you're better like that. You're better because you don't look like you're hanging around. People can't wait to see you come in. Yeah. People know that your part's going to be fun. Now, everybody can't be that. You have to have people that are going to drive the show, right? Arthur on King of Queens, he's going to come up from the base and be like, I had no idea this was going to be this way, and I'm out of here. And he would, by the way, he had one of the greatest, Jerry Stiller came up to me. I did the Seinfeld bit at the Montreal Comedy Festival. Jerry Stiller comes up to me afterward, and it's the greatest. Like, this is awesome. He goes, I really enjoyed your show, especially the Seinfeld portion. And I was like, oh, that is so, thank you, Mr. Stiller. He's like, now, could you tell me where the bathroom is? He just wanted to know. He just wanted to know where the bathroom was. And that was, I told Ben Stiller that. I told him that I think it was after his father had passed away. I did a show called Birthday Boys, and it was really a funny thing. But he was playing a Robin Williams type teacher, Dead Poet Society kind of teacher. Ben Stiller was. It was directed by Bob Odenkirk's directing it as a guest director. But it was so awesome. And see, there's goes through. So I told that, and Ben Stiller, just the moment he heard it, he's like he was almost embarrassed. That's my dad. Like, that's just my dad being my dad. I'm like, I've been there, man. But I remember in that was one of my favorite things too. Well, the thing they wrote, that's why I want to tell you this too, was the bit they wrote was he's this, like I said, this Dead Poet Society kind of teacher. But he's going, he's teaching outside the box, and he's supposed to be teaching the Diary of Anne Frank, but he's teaching the Diary of Frank Caliendo instead.
Right, it's funny,
and it's it's a joke of making fun of me. But I was like, God, just to be in this joke, and Bob Odenkirk's directing, and Ben Stiller's doing it. The Birthday Boys wrote it. It's like, oh, and I made Stiller laugh because when Odenkirk kind of went off the script, he's like, he's having. Mr. Stiller, no, he's having Ben just tell me, he's like, okay, Adam Sandler at a funeral. And I was like, oh, Grandma, why did you have to leave? Where were you? I needed. And then Ben Stiller starts cracking up. He's like, I can't go on. He stopped it. And I go, I just made Ben Stiller laugh on the set. Oh, I go, this is the greatest day of my life. And Stiller's like, get going. He's like, no, he was great, but it was so funny too, because it was a moment for me, like, oh, this is one of the people I look up to as one of the great reactors. Like, Ben Stiller, as fun as he could be presenting, something about Married to Me was all about him reacting. Everything, like, reactive comedy to me is some of the best, because that's where the laugh comes from. Right. Not always the line. It's where
you're exactly
what's
right.
happening.
That's something it's very true. A lot of people don't realize that when you're shooting a comedy, or a sitcom, the coverage is you need a single on the person saying line and a single on the person laughing. You need both those shots because it's not funny until you see the reaction.
And how's the person taking it, right?
Yeah.
How's the person absorbing it? Maybe that's what you're saying. You said the laugh, but it's like,
yeah, I didn't mean laugh. I mean the response.
Yeah,
the response.
Yeah,
yeah,
because that's what it's. The joke isn't funny unless you understand how it's hitting people. It's just a line until you see the relationship. The two people, the chemistry, right? It's the chemistry that happens. The line can be said from two different people, and it might die said the same way, but the reaction, how the other person receives it, makes it.
And that's why you need to shoot it not in a two-shot, but in singles, because it's like, okay, you're waiting. What's the single of what's the reaction? If you see it in the two-shot, you're like, it's kind of, there's no moment. You need the moment of the shot.
And that was another thing that I always had a problem with agents understand. And I wasn't famous enough to be able to do this stuff, and I'm not famous, but I'm like, I like to react. I like to take it in and do something small but they want me to come in and be the big over the top character all the time. I'm like, that's why I started to audition for more dramatic stuff and realistic stuff. Cause I was like, when you do that little stuff that's when they go, oh, this person knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
This person knows how to do it. And I just, I started watching more and more actors talk about it. And I just started recently getting more comfortable with the way to audition. Cause I got thrown into Hollywood. When I first went out to Hollywood, they had me auditioning for I was in rooms with people I shouldn't have been in rooms with. Like I was in rooms with directors and I was going straight to producers just because I was the new thing and this new guy that, was just getting development deal action. And I didn't know how to act, and I didn't know I still think I'm learning a ton, but I didn't even know where to look for an audition. I didn't know. I was looking into the camera, and agents don't tell you. Right. I was looking into the camera. I didn't know how to take the lines.
Didn't you take classes? Didn't you study?
No, because I went there. I was just thrown in. I was on TV. I'd never done a sketch. I'd never done like a sketch in a show, in a live show, and I was shooting them on TV. Right. That's how fast it was for me. So I was doing stand-up. I was stand-up, and then I was on a show. I was on a show called Hype on the WB that failed pretty quickly. Like they had the whole night. It's Hype night on the WB. 3 weeks later, it's the WB Sunday. That's when you know that your show is no longer the focus of the night.
But it was so stand-up that you wanted to do, getting into it, right? And then acting.
I didn't even want to do stand-up, Michael. I didn't even really want to do stand-up. I just didn't know what I wanted to do.
But you got
never
up on
had
stage.
A plan. I did because I went to school for broadcast journalism, and I didn't like to be the one asking the questions.
Right.
I liked watching Robin Williams, Jonathan Winters, even Jim Carrey as I got a little bit older. I like watching people on talk shows telling stories. Right. That's what I like. I like Jonathan Winters. Oh, I did something just a little weird today. I like him and Robin Williams. Oh my God, you're not gonna believe what just happened to me. I like doing that. Leno going, hey, you want to come on, do the story, do the thing, Robin. Remember that time you did that? So that was the stuff I loved, and that was the problem. That's one of my problems. That's all I ever really wanted to do. As soon as I was a guest on talk shows, I'm like, that's what I wanted to do. It wasn't until I matured a little bit later. And I've always been like an old soul, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then I started getting it. I think I started to have more emotions in life. I had kids, and I started to tear up when, somebody did. I mean, I never understood the arc of a story. I didn't understand things when I was younger. I was just like, okay, I'll go in there, do lines. Now I'm like, oh my God, there's so much subtext to what's happening here. Yeah. This is, I mean, I'll start to a friend of mine gave me some good news about his son the other day, and I start to tear. I mean, these little things. I'm like, God, I'm a mush puddle. But that's good in acting because you can use it.
Right.
When I was new to Hollywood, I didn't know any of it. I don't know. Right. I remember saying one of the stupidest things I ever said to I was auditioning for a John Travolta movie. I think it was The General's Daughter. But it was a real movie. And I went in, and I probably was terrible. I wasn't any good at all. And they're like, have you done any acting? I'm like, no, it's just like being on TV, right? And movie acting. I'm like, no, it's just like they're like, no, it's very, very different. And I was like, well, nobody told me. They just told me to come in here, do a bunch of impressions, impress you with that. You might put me in the movie. And it never, it was, and I was I would get people's attention doing the wrong thing, and I was memorable, but I was never really good for the part. I was never really at the beginning, and I just didn't like auditioning because I didn't know what I was doing. I like to know I like to go into something and be prepared. This interview, I can just come in and be me and talk about the things I can do that. I can really do that. Now I'm getting to a point where if I want to go in and if I get called for an audition on something, I like to be really prepared to the point where I'll if I'm not, I just go, I don't want to go in and do this audition. The agents will be like, they just want to see you, just try it. And I'll be like, let me see if I can be happy enough. And I'm starting to get to the point where, because I've watched and talked to some other casting directors, that like, dude, you don't need to be perfect. You don't even need to be close to be perfect. They just need to see something in that first time they see you that's interesting, that they go, this might be, because you can always build, because you work with a casting director. That's why you go back for callbacks, right? Because they see the little piece and they go, something, and then they go, well, you know what? You're not right for this, but can you read for this? Because this might be, because we saw this moment. There was some moment of real. You just did something. It was a breath you took, and we're like, everybody watched that breath. Like, really? You watched that? That breath is what, like, nobody knows why this stuff works, but it does. And you see something in somebody's eye, and you see, something in an audition that just catches something, and it's interesting. And that's why I always tell people. I say, you don't always. Comedy isn't always about being funny. It's about being interesting, right? You hold somebody's interest. Now that the network TV is not 100% the truth, and that's what hurts network TV comedy sometimes. And but it's if you are interesting, people will continue to watch. If you're funny, not that interesting while you're funny, people are like, I've seen funny before, but why do I want to see? Why do I want to watch more from this person? What is pulling me in? What's the like a gravitational pull of seeing this person and looking at them, watching their eyes? What are they thinking right now? John Lovett said to me, he goes, the camera captures thought. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I never even thought of it that way. So it's like the camera knows what you're thinking. Do you have any t-shirts around? Why do you want t-shirts? I don't. Lovett's just walked around my house going, this is yours? This is yours? How much? This would cost millions by me.
Wow. Well, such an interesting creative journey you had. I mean, honestly, because it wasn't like you didn't really know where you're going, but you got there. You didn't have a destination. You got there, though.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'm at the destination I want to be. I'm kind of at a point where I don't want to. I just do the stuff that people know me for, just to keep it out there, so until I can find something that somebody goes, you know what, let's give him a shot. That's really. And I used to not be like that. I used to be scared to try and do things. If somebody wanted me to read for a serious part, and I'm not talking about crying and stuff like that. I just mean, just holding somebody's attention in a drama. It's not as easy as people think. Comedy, in a lot of ways, comedy way harder, as you know. Like there are things about comedy that are just so. A lot of great actors can't do it at all.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But there's something about holding somebody's attention on screen that's just not. It's you can direct it. You can direct it into happening some. But there are some people that I want to watch what they're doing. So I'm sorry. It sounded like you had other thoughts.
No. I'm raptured. It's so interesting. Like I said, it's just interesting to hear how people go on a creative journey. Maybe you haven't gotten as much as I think you've gone incredibly far, but you just want to do more, and you want to move away from.
I just want to be different, and I don't mind going back and doing some of the things I've done. But anytime anybody's ever cast me in a show, they rewrite the part for the guy to do impressions, and
Right.
you know, and then I'm like, well, that's fine, but can my character have some sort of arc and not
Right.
just be one dimensional? How about
Right.
I do something, I have feelings, and not just big over the top, but it ends up getting, most of the time that's not what they're looking for anyways, which is fine. I've just done that.
Right. You want to
And
push yourself. That's all.
yeah, we're doing going to be different. I mean, I'm at a point where I'm starting to believe in myself enough that I can do some of it.
Right.
Whereas you have to believe that you can do things, because if you don't, again, that shows. There's confidence and there's false confidence. Fake it till you make it. But there's just something about somebody who, when they really get it, and they're like, that's what I was talking about with Better Call Saul, Billions. You watch these actors and you go, oh my God, they're really, really good. That's just a high level of selling and just feeling. You just feel for the people, and you care, and you can't wait to see you I don't want to say live vicariously through them, but you almost do. It's like you want to go, oh no, like you worry that it's actually happening.
Right.
Like
right.
that.
You're invested.
Yeah, the investment, being invested. And it's hard to do. I had this other theory, of all my theories, you can bust it, but network television has been like that for the longest time. It's pretty people telling you what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's all exposition. I'm going to go down the street right now and take a look and see it. And if you watch FX or something like that, they let you figure it out. And their character, they look like a cat, like Mike Trout. They give you the time to figure out, like, what are they doing? Oh,
yeah. It's ironic because the breaking of those stories are very similar between a network show and a cable show. It's just that in a cable show or a smarter written show, you don't say it as much. You're not as clear. And so people think, oh, this is smarter writing, because you're allowing the audience to do more thinking. They have to stay engaged. Whereas sometimes, writing that isn't as sophisticated, you're just telling them. But it's very similar in terms of writing. It's actually, in some ways, it's easier to write smart, I think, than it is, because you do the work. I'll let you do some work.
Yeah. I mean, we don't always talk. What we don't do in life is tell people what we actually want.
Yeah.
A lot of times we tell people the opposite. That's acting too, right? That's you're telling somebody something, but you're trying to get something else. Yeah. Or you're not letting you're trying to hide that you're trying to get something else.
Right.
And that's actually what's going on. And in the network stuff, a lot of times you're just telling them what you're trying to do, and the music tells you that you're being sneaky.
Right.
But in the cable show, you're not telling them flat out, and you're going, why is he being so nice to him? That doesn't make sense. Oh,
right. And you don't use that music. My partner, like, the fewer music cues, the better, because we don't have to tell the audience what to feel. Let them figure it out. But yeah, sometimes you have to put wall-to-wall music on this stuff. But wow, this has been an interesting talk. There's a lot to you, Frank. There's not just the guy who does a lot of voices. Thought, right? You thought I just kind of thought you were a shallow puddle guy who does voices. Now, is this your real voice, or is this a voice you're doing?
This is a character I've been working on.
He's a psychopath.
He's nuts. He's
very
hit it on the
convincing.
head. You really hit it. You really
chilling.
You understand me more. Let's take the curtain down. This is the real me.
Wow.
Yes, I'm actually from another country. Yes, I am, and I'm not even sure where I'm from, but it's across the pond.
Are you good at languages too? Because you're such a good
ear. But the one thing that I get worried about is I've never studied people to know what the intricacies of a good accent actually are. So I could do a big fakey accent for somebody, but somebody who actually speaks the language or speaks with the accent would be like, no, that's not it. And I have a little lack of, if I worked on it, I've been doing a little bit more of, it's something that really, I could do really well. I think it would just, it just takes the time. Yeah. I remember, and it's interesting. Like you find it's the same thing with like impressions. It's just a general impression. you'd find the speech pattern of how people kind of talk. I remember the funny one for Australian, to keep it Australian, it was the Wiggles. You remember the Wiggles?
Yeah. Yeah.
They were I had my kids meet the Wiggles. I wasn't out there at their concert, but but with my son. But they said, I was talking about Australian accent, and they said the vowels are flat. The vowels are flat.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is the flat vowels. If you listen to vowels, that's how you hear. That's how, O's are from Wisconsin. I'm from or Chicago down south. You draw the vowels out. So you do the different. You hit different consonants. You hit different vowels, which sounds like, oh, that you're just pronouncing it, but I might be articulating it perfectly, but the vowels are so important into to how people speak, and it's how an impression's found too. You listen to where they draw out because it's hard to draw out a T, right? It's just you can hit the T hard, you can hit it soft.
But there's some people you can't do, I imagine, because they're just not,
I think
specific enough.
You haven't heard me, like, people ask me that all the time. I go, if you haven't heard me do it, I can't. That's one of those things. And then it's hard because when you put an impression out there that isn't ready, and I've done that a couple times, all people do is tell you how bad it is. I'm like, that's what I'm telling you. This is something I'm working on. And
yeah, but some people I don't think have enough specificity to be impersonate. Do you think, or no?
Yeah, correct. They're too normal. But I've heard that said about certain people. Like, people tell me there's like somebody would say Mark Ruffalo. How did you do Mark Ruffalo? And I go, I just listened enough, and I don't know. And you find it. You just find it. It's there. I see this, and I find a phrase. So in Endgame, Avengers Endgame, he says, I see this as an absolute win. And that was what I came off of that was the key phrase that like Morgan Freeman, I always launch it. Truth is, fact of the matter is, and I can just go into it. Robert Downey Jr. So here's the deal. Jeff Goldblum. Yes, of course. You find those little things. It's like pulling the what's the mechanism on the lawnmower to start the lawnmower. It's doing that to get it to get the motor rolling.
Frank, wow, man, we've covered a lot of stuff today. I think this is very interesting. Wow. Well, I thank you so much for joining me. But I want to make sure before we sign off, because I've had you for I've taken a lot of your time. I want to make sure people can follow you and know where to follow you everywhere, and so they know what you're up to.
Pretty much everything is at Frank Caliendo. If you can't spell Caliendo, it's the letter C, the word alien, and the word do. So at Frank C Alien Do.
I think you made it harder by saying that.
I might have, but it's memorable. What is that thing he said?
Wait, he said alien.
There's an alien in there.
Wow.
All Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, they're all at Frank Caliendo. So
wow.
And the tour dates, frankonstage.com gets you to that. There's only one right now, the Phoenix date on February 4th. So
go see this guy. I was actually just there recently. Just drove
you were?
it. Yeah, I went to Oracle to visit family. Yeah. You know where Oracle is?
I don't.
It's north of, it's near Tucson.
You know
where
really?
Tucson is.
I've heard of it.
I drove through Phoenix. I know that part. All right.
Well, next time, let me know.
I'll let you know, man. Frank, thank you so much, man. What a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for doing this little show. And then hang on. Well, I sign off and say goodbye. Then I'll thank you in person some more. But thank you, everyone. Yeah, thank you for thank you for listening. And until next time, make sure to follow Frank, and we'll talk more. All right, everyone. Thanks again.
This has been an episode of Screenwriters Need to Hear This with Michael Jamin. If you'd like to support this podcast, please consider subscribing, leaving a review, and sharing this podcast with someone who needs to hear today's subject. For free daily screenwriting tips, follow Michael on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Michael Jamin Writer. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Phil A. Hudson. This episode was produced by Phil Hudson and edited by Dallas Crane. Until next time, keep writing.